Morning, dear children. Let's see a new lesson in history, intellectual awakening, and social political changes. Introduction to the lesson. A new civilization began to develop in North India. So, the revival of trade, urbanization, all that has been happened in 6th century. And not only that, it has been occurred in North India with the Buddha and Mahavira's birth. So, to say with Buddhism and Jainism took a root as a major religions in India, propagating new beliefs and philosophies. And similarly, Zoroastrianism in Persia and Confucianism and Taoism in China also have become popular. And you can see what all the religion that has been spread throughout the world. Okay, this new civilization that has been emerged during the Iron Age, New Iron Age, with common features. Well, what's that? The crafts and the trade activities, the cities and towns have been raised, and universities have been built under the perception of religion, and also code of conduct have been developed. Confucius during the period 551 to 478 BC. Who is this Confucius? He was born in Shantung province of China. He studied history, poetry, philosophy, and music. He was familiar with all these things as an all around player. And he was the author of the books the Book of Records, the Book of Words, the Book of Changes dealing with metaphysics, and the Spring and Autumn Annals, and as well as the Book of History. So, all these five books give important about the society, the way of life, how do they deal with. And here is the man who says he can and a man who says he can't are both correct, says Confucius, because it belongs to every thought of the man. And the five cardinal virtues of him is humanity, and second one is righteousness, and the third one propriety, and wisdom with trustworthiness. All these he found as virtues of life. Yes, he said that wisdom grows from the family, and the foundation of the society is the family, how the way they were able to live in the society. And the superior man, according to him, is not merely intelligent or scholarly, but character wise, he should be an example person. He should be exemplary for the inferior people. Well, the virtues says about is intelligence, courage, and goodwill. All these plays an important role or a vital role in a family by the parents. They were the superior for their children, and children have to be followed and have to be obeyed for the parents. And this should not resist for any prince. So, when it says to the royal family, when the command is wrong, a son should resist his father and a minister should resist the prince. So, the advisory committee also have to be in a good sense. When it asked about the government, he said that there should be sufficiency of food and sufficiency of military equipment and confidence of the people that the ruler should be. Children, this is one of your detailed answer. So start with five cardinal principles of Confucius and with all the five principles and end till the ruler by the right side. Mark it in your book. We'll move on to the lesson. He is Taos. Let us who have been found Taoism. His teaching is the cause of human unhappiness in the world is human selfishness. So, due to selfishness, every humans indulge all sorts of sufferings. His own desire leads to the misery. So, in nature, all the things are active, and the law of human conduct must correspond with nature. So, we have to protect the nature. We should not harm the environment. Humans live in life under the regulation of someone. This is because they have acquired knowledge and have not remained innocent. So, according to the knowledge, we have to survive in the society without harming the nature or the other human, the fellow being. The next we are going to see is Zoroaster. He is from Persia. He is one of the oldest revealed world religion, and it remained as the state religion for three great Iranian emperors during the 6th century. Zoroaster was pained to find his people worshipping primitive deities. So he was about to revolt against this belief, and he proclaimed to the world that there is only one God, and that is Ahura Mazda, and which is called as the Lord of Light or Lord of Fire. The fire, you know very well, it burns everything. So all the bad things should be burnt according to him. His teaching says about the qualities, that is, highest religious conceptions. What were the qualities of Ahura Mazda? The first one is light, second is good mind, third is right, fourth dominion, fifth piety, sixth well-being, and seven is immortality. So all these belongs to the quality of Ahura Mazda. What is this Ahura Mazda? What sort of deity is? It is omniscient, that is present in all being, and omnipotent. It is so powerful that none can overpower this deity, and also omnipresent. It's present in everywhere. The Zoroastrianism sacrifice and image worship was discarded. So, fire was the worship as a symbol of deity and considered with the highest form of worship. Charity is very much essential for the religion, and service to the poor was very much needed for the world. Next, we are going to see is Mahavira and the iron technology that is born in India. It belongs to the religion of all the Vedas. The Vedas are present over here in India, have been occupied throughout the world, people's mind. Now comes Mahavira. Vardhamana Mahavira was born in 599 BC at Kundakarma near Vaishali. His mother was Trishala, a Lichavi princess. He spent his early life as a prince and was married to the princess named Yashoda. They had the daughter, and at the age of 30, he left the home and became an ascetic, as a monk. He was about to wander for 12 years from place to place, subjecting himself to severe penance and self mortification. He indulged all sort of self mortification, self worries, and leaving away all sort of his princely way of life, the royal way of life. And in 13th year of his asceticism, he acquired the highest knowledge. He was called as Jaina the Conqueror. So thus he gave his name as great hero, the Mahavira. His three principles were considered as a religion Jainism, which were called as Triratnas, the right faith, belief in the teachings and the wisdom of Mahavira, right knowledge, acceptance of the theory of there is no God and that this world existed without a creator. And right action, it refers to the Mahavira's observance to five great vows, that is ahimsa, honesty, kindness, truthfulness, and not coveting, that is desiring other things belongs to others. Now we'll move on how this Jainism has been spread with the monks and the monasteries. The monks led to the Astra way of life. They were about to have a pure way of life. They believed in virginity, and they were about to give their alms to others. It has been spread in Karnataka and Western India, and costly rituals and sacrifices have been avoided in this religion, Jainism, which has been very easy to follow by the lower grade people in the society. And finally, there was a split in Jainism with different thoughts of opinions, which were called as Digambaras and Svatambaras. Thus, it was a decline for the Jainism and lack of royal patronage. It's a severity and spread of Buddhism has been led to decline the religion Jainism. We'll move on to the other religion, Buddhism. Buddha says, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace is good. And who is this Buddha? He was called as a Gautama Buddha, who was the son of Suddhodana, the chief Kshatriya clan and the Chakyas of Kapilavastu in present day of Nepal. He is been given with the name of Siddhartha. He belonged to the Chakya clan and was known as Chakyamuni. He born in 567 BC in Lumni near Kapilavastu. His mother was Maya Devi, and after his birth, she has been died. So Siddhartha was brought up by his stepmother. In order to divert his attention towards worldly affairs, his father got him married at the age of 16 to the princess Yasodhara. And he led a way of happy married life and gave a birth to a son, Rahula. His teachings led to good principles. The first one we are going to see is four great truths. That is, there is suffering and sorrows in the world. This was truth. And the cause of human suffering is because of desire and craving. So, this pain or sorrow can be removed by suppressing desire. So, when your desire have been suppressed, you will never suffer. You just imagine children, when you are going to have your desire added up one after the other, sure that you are going to suffer for your desire. So, this is to be achieved by leading a disciplined life or by following Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path. To attain nirvana, according to Buddha, a person should aim at attainment of nirvana or highest bliss, and could be achieved by any person by leading a virtuous life by following eightfold path. What is this eight noble fold path? Buddha preached with right views. Everything should be right, pure, good in the mind, right view, right action, right aspiration, right speech, right livelihood, and right effort, right mindfulness. Well, the eighth one is right contemplation or meditation. With all the things are right, sure that you are going to lead a good life in the world and the society. You will be an exemplary for others. Buddha preached that he was who practiced the eightfold path can attain the highest and purest form in the mind. And here is children, his life history and the symbols. He has been born and have been departed from the royal family and got the enlightenment in the under the tree in Bodh Gaya and made his first sermon in Vaishali and has been attained his mukti. At his first sermon in Varanasi, he was about to say that everyone or brothers and sisters, and he was about to give his speech in the vernacular language, which was quite good enough to understand by everyone. But later it has been followed by the royal family, that has been spread with the unknown language, especially with the higher language Sanskrit in those periods. So thus that is the split in Buddhism, and this has been called as Hinayana and Mahayana. So the Hinayana is called the lesser vehicle, which was the original creed of Buddha, and his followers has no form, and they considered Buddha as their guru and did not worship as God. And the denial of idol worship is also has been there, and with the simple language which has been known to every lower grade people, Pali have been followed in this Hinayana. But Mahayana was called as a greater vehicle, which is tough for the society people. Buddha was worshipped as God, and Bodhisattva was as the previous avatar. The followers made images and statues of Buddha and Bodhisattva of offered prayers, recited hymns, and also everything has been done as a deity, as a Buddha, as a deity. So later they wrote their religious books in Sanskrit. This form of Buddhism was patronized by Kanishka. Overall, growth of royal families, royal powers. The king enjoyed the absolute power and he was considered as a god, the descendant of God. We'll move on to the royal power, the rise of Magadha, Mauryan empires, Mauryan kingdom, Chandragupta Maurya. Everyone have become popular in this period, and they were about to rule the country in a good manner. The territory under the control have been led with the peace and prosperity. Bimbisara succeeded in establishing a comprehensive structure of administration. So after him, his son Ajatasattu have been come into success into his throne. And so the Magadha kingdom has been raised. The politically operated by centralized government. It was good well. The advisory bodies, the state officials, it contains a good army to protect their well-beings. The land tax have been collected. The revenue have been taken to the treasury. Ajatasattu, the son of Bimbisara, is said to be have murdered his father and ascended to the throne. He continued his father's policy of expansion through military conquest. The capital city of Magadha was Rajagiri, which was surrounded by 5 hills, which gave protection for the kingdom with the external threats. And also, Ajatasattu have been strengthened the Rajagiri fort and built another fort at Padalikrama in Ganges. Finally, he died in 461 BC. In is one of the Kalinga edicts, the Ashoka Pillar at Allahabad. He tells about the horror and sorrow over the deaths which the war and conquest have been caused. This gave popularity for the king Ashoka. So, in another edict makes it known that Ashoka would be not tolerance any longer the death or captivity of even hundreds or thousands part of number killed, and made Kalinga a capital. Ashoka's passion for protecting life extended to animals as well as. So hospitals were constructed for them and animal sacrifice was forbidden. And Ashoka sent his son Mahendra and his daughter Shangamitra to Ceylon to spread his message of Dharma. Ashoka died after ruling of 38 years. Here we see Chandragupta Maurya. The Mauryan administration also has been flourished. The king was the head of the administration. So all sort of revenue and expenditure have been expanded. The empire was divided into four provinces, and these provinces were being administered by governors who were usually princes or from the royal family. Well, the districts were under Stanika, while Gopas were in charge of 5 to 10 villages. So, six committees with 5 members each carried their duties well. They were to be taken care of the foreigners, to register the birth and the death of the citizen, to look after trade and commerce, to supervise the different manufacturers, to collect excise duties and custom duties. So, while the growth of royal family, royal power, they have taken care of the welfare of their people under their territory. So everything has been set up in proper, in order. By polity, it has been given a proper instruction with rules and regulations also. The tax have been collected properly and have been spent for the welfare of the people. Not only that, the educational centers have been laid out. Monasteries and temples served as the impart education. Nalanda was the great monastery built by the Magadha Empire. Educational centers offered Buddhist and Vedic literature, logic, grammar, medicine, philosophy, and astronomy. So, even the science of war was taught. Nalanda became a most renowned seat of learning in course of time. It was supported by the revenue of 100 villages. So you can see, children, that kings had done their work very properly and regulated the money which had been collected from the people as tax in a proper way, and no fees were charged to the students, and they were provided free boarding and lodging. So this is what have been given through the Nalanda University, which has been supported by the revenue of 100 villages. Well, children, thus we end today's lesson. Complete the homework. Have a blessed day. Now you can do your homework with your short answer which you have learnt, seen through the lesson. See you again.